I've watched six people die in front of me, people who I've come to know and like, and to see in all their human frailties, as we all have. And you always come out of there. It's the middle of the night because we're always doing it in the middle of the night because we're basically ashamed of all of this. And you look up at the stars and you say, oh my goodness, did killing that person really make the world a better place?
Why is there a need for another method?
Well, that's a very good question. We might well agree that there's no need for any method. But the problem arises out of a case of Kenny Smith, which is an extraordinary case. The jury voted 11-1 for life for him, but Alabama overruled it and gave him death. And then last year, last November, they tried to kill him with lethal injection. They spent 4 hours probing around trying to find a vein, which they never did manage to do because they don't have doctors doing this stuff because of the Hippocratic Oath, and therefore they use people who just can't do it. So now they want to go back and kill him. And the whole case just illustrates the madness of the death penalty. It was a case where an Alabama pastor, a vicar, wanted to kill his wife and hired some other person to do it. Apparently, thou shalt not kill means thou shalt get someone else to kill.
Mm.
And so had a number of people involved in this, one of whom was allegedly Kenny, and now they want to use a whole new human experimentation to try and kill him.
And what is the science behind this particular method? Is it fail-proof?
I think for the science, and that's using that word loosely, you need to talk to Michael Portillo. Another of the extraordinary aspects of this is that Alabama and Mississippi, two of the southern states, are adopting a method of execution that's never been used in history, but that was first championed by our very own former Tory MP, Michael Portillo, when he did a documentary on television about, what would perhaps be the best way to kill someone. And it's not been used. And, this really is just an effort to experiment. And they've messed it up so many times before, you can't believe they're not going to do it again.
So Alabama's Attorney General is asking the state Supreme Court to allow its use in an execution. Do you think it's likely? Do you think it will happen?
I think the probability of it actually going ahead anytime soon is actually pretty slim, because they haven't had it approved by the Alabama Supreme Court. The moment that happens, there's going to be a federal challenge, obviously. But the current Supreme Court is very hostile to the interests of prisoners. And so it is possible that, the lower federal courts will say, no, we've got to have a proper hearing and see whether this works. But the Supreme Court may very well just overrule them and say, go ahead, have an experimentation on Kenny Smith.
Clearly you would campaign against any method, but is there one method? I listed quite a few at the beginning there. Is there one method that you think is the most humane, or as humane as it can be, to kill someone?
Well, I'd take several gin and tonics and passing away gently in my bed at home, frankly. I don't really see that. I've watched six people die in front of me, people who I've come to know and like, and to see in all their human frailties, as we all have. And you always come out of there. It's the middle of the night because we're always doing it in the middle of the night because we're basically ashamed of all of this. And you look up at the stars and you say, oh my goodness, did killing that person really make the world a better place? And I think the short answer is no. So I'm not going to say there's a good way to do an execution because I think it's all total madness.